Hi, I've just finished a collection of short stories that I picked up because it's on the Dylan Thomas Prize, on the prize long list for this year. And it's an author I'd come across before because I read her when she was longlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction last year. And it's Camilla Grudova. She wrote Children of Paradise, which was sort of full of body horror and stuff like that. So I expected that this short story collection, The Coiled Serpent, would be in the same vein. And it is. They're not, all these short stories, gruesome, grotesque, freakish, any term you want to apply, it's there. We've got the short stories, they're not connected, but there are the odd things that sort of appear all over. Custard, Ovaltine, Rupert Bear, things that have connotations of being sort of, especially for the UK, sort of very comforting and almost childlike. I mean, I always remember, when I was a child, the bedtime drink was Ovaltine and bird's custard, which this powder that you mixed with milk for this yellow custard. And Rupert Bear was the animals used to eat. So there's those connotations, but in here, very, very different. Custard, we've got a custard factory. Somebody who decides, it's built by somebody who created custard, I suppose, in the same way that I'm going to say Mr. Bird, but I doubt it's Mr. Bird. I should have looked this up. The person who created Bird's custard. I can't even. You'll have to correct me, but he had this idea about this powder that you use to make custard. Anyway, in this story, we've got custard, a custard factory. We've also got lots and lots of references to body parts and bodily functions. We've got huge amounts of feces, lots and lots of poo, periods. We've got poison. We've got monstrous creatures. We've got boarding schools. I mean, there's so much in here. You sort of think each story, you think, crikey, what are we going to meet next? I mean, the boarding school, that was called Ivor. The boys never leave. And, we've all got this idea of what a boys' boarding school is like because we've heard the stories and things as we know. But and you get that behaviour, but it gets more and more depraved because these boys just don't leave. We've got Madame Flora's, and this is a sort of like a rest home for young girls whose periods have stopped. So this is a place where these girls go to where they're treated until their periods start again, and they all wear nappy bustles that are inspected daily to see whether they've started their periods. I mean, so bizarre, absolutely bizarre. What other ones you've got? You've got the surrogates. This is harping back to this, sort of people who are struggling with poverty and decide that they're going to become a surrogate, and the bizarre regulations that the parents are imposing on this woman who is being their surrogate. What she can and can't do is just off the wall. And then the title, The Coiled Serpent, we've got these men who practice celibacy, but they it's a way of retaining their semen, even when they're having sex or masturbating. They keep it within them because it's going to promote peace and prosperity by not spreading the seed. I mean, there's so much. I'm speechless of, because everything, all these stories, and then you've got monstrous creatures as well that devour anything that's living and regurgitate these pellets that are full of things that they've, not just the bones and the hair like an owl's pellet, but everything else they consumed that couldn't digest, like pottery and cloth and totally bizarre. But then I did expect it, because I enjoyed Children of Paradise, because that started sort of almost sensibly. I was going to say sensibly, but you know what I mean. And then it went off into these different directions. So if you want something bizarre, if you want something grotesque and gruesome, full of bodily parts, bodily functions, and you name it, pick this one up. It's on the Dylan Prize long list. So I'll be interested to see whether it gets onto the short list or what happens to it. So happy reading. Take care.